It's a joy to be with you on this Friday, and I trust this week has been another time of blessing. For some of you, it may have been a trial, but if you've responded right, there is blessing, and we can trust God for that. Well, one of the things that we are constantly dealing with is reactions to people who think the opposite of what is truth and who are satanically just overpowered to have hearts that are set against the people of God and the truth of God. We see that in every facet of our culture. And it's easy for us to be frustrated and discouraged about that. Over these last few years, I've tried to encourage us as we have been just baffled by the irrational, unreasonable actions of people who do not know the Lord. I've encouraged us to realize that they're not saved, they don't understand it, and Satan is very powerful. And I love Psalm 37. There are so many imperatives in this psalm. You have the imperative to trust the Lord, to delight in the Lord, to commit thy way to the Lord, to rest in the Lord, to cease from anger. Just a tremendous, tremendous psalm. But it begins with an imperative that gets right to what I began with here today. Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity. We are not, as God's people, to fret ourselves, to get anxious, to react to those who are evildoers. And we must not be envious of their power, their popularity, their riches, the opportunities they have to fulfill themselves humanly. We must be very, very cognizant of the fact that God is not pleased when we fret ourselves because of evildoers. And the reason is we need to understand that God has made a promise. Verse 2, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as the green herb. That is the promise that we have. You find that in Psalm 1, the preface to the Psalms, how that the wicked will wither, but blessed is the man who walketh uprightly. That person will be like a tree planted by the rivers of water. God blesses those who look to him. God will deal with those who are being tools of Satan or just fulfilling their own lust, and especially if they are causing injury to the work of God. We must trust in the Lord, as the next verse says. We can believe God. I think one of my biggest concerns, and one of the reasons we started these little recordings, is that I was burdened about all of the reactions that Christians were having. Now, we need to be stirred about sin, and we need to take our stand, and we need to be strong in the Lord. But we don't need to live frustrated, upset, and angry about the way the world is acting. We need to realize that God said this is going to happen, and I'm going to take care of it. Now, certainly, we are to do what we can to get the gospel out, and we have a great opportunity to serve the Lord. And as Americans, we have an opportunity to participate in our governmental process. But we must not allow ourselves to get carnal and envious and find ourselves reacting, because that will take away blessing, that will take away the power of God, and there's certainly no encouragement in that, because none of that's going to be productive. And so we need to trust in the Lord that he is indeed going to make all things right. He is going to honor his son's name. He is going to bring all of the prophecies to pass exactly like they have been prophesied. He is going to do a marvelous work. And we need to see him work now by allowing ourselves to be the instruments that he wants us to be. And that encourages us. We see him actually overcoming the world through our lives as we do what God has called us to do. And so the psalmist is right there, David here, in the right reaction to being unjustly treated and being frustrated by what's going on. May God enable us to have that heart of confidence, rest, and joy in him as we serve him with all of our heart.